Let's talk a little bit about the work that you're doing now. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the projects that you're involved in these days?
Yeah, well, currently I've got two things on the go. There's a series that's been running in England now for about 4 years, which is called At Home with the Braithwaites, which is about a family that wins £38 million on the lottery and how it affects them adversely. And I play the father in that, and I go slightly mad. Then recently I've made a series called The Last Detective, which is, as the title infers, a detective series, which are kind of hour-and-a-half shows. And that's currently airing in Britain. It seems to be going down.
Among your contemporaries, because you also do some stage work as well, do you get any teasing about the fact that you're in not just one but several series that have very loyal fan followings?
Well, I've always been given a hard time by people who perceive me as working far too much than I should, far more than I should. So yeah, I mean, when I was doing Doctor Who and All Creatures and a couple of comedy series, I was on virtually every night of the week. And then I had, for me, after Campion and Peculiar Practice, I had for me a sort of quiet patch, but in other people's terms it wasn't a quiet patch at all. I mean, I was still making television series and one-off programs. And now it seems to me I'm doing lots of stuff again. So I feel a bit, fortunate, certainly. Maybe I should hand over a few of the roles to other people. I don't know, but I don't feel inclined to do that. But yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I have been very fortunate that I've managed to move. I think the secret of why I've done well is I've managed to move, for some reason, and there's no plan, to move from one genre to another. I've never been stuck. A lot of actors on television get unfairly stuck in one genre or the other. They either get stuck in sitcom or very serious parts or soap opera, and I've managed to, dodge from one thing to another.
When you took, you've repeated this story many times, when you took the role of Doctor Who, Patrick Troughton, who had played it years before you, gave you some advice about limit the amount of time that you played, maybe perhaps to avoid typecasting.
Yeah.
Do you think that, looking back on it now, do you think that that was good advice, that you were glad you took it?
Oh yes. I mean, I very definitely had a choice to either do a fourth year of Doctor Who or leave after 3. And it was a close call. I mean, it wasn't a foregone conclusion that I would choose to leave after 3 years. And I think I wasn't very happy with season 2 of my. It was just we were beset by money problems and strike problems, and had I been happy with season 2, because that's really when I had to make the decision at the end of season 2, I might well have gone on and done another season, but I don't think that would have been the right thing to do. I mean, when I left Doctor Who, I went up for another very good part, a BBC 2 classic serial. And I know there was much discussion about whether I should be offered the part because I'd just done Doctor Who. And that was something that would have got worse had I done Doctor Who for longer. I mean, fortunately, they did offer it to me. But I was very aware that, if you stick too long in something, it just takes longer to recover from it. And I think Tom found that.
Last question I'd like to ask you is about your children. How much of this do you let them see of your career, or do you let them see it all, or let them make up their own minds? Or?
I've never tried to. You mean as regards of just the celebrity nature of it? You mean?
Well, just the variety, and I'd be very interested to hear their reactions to your work. You have a daughter who's a bit older, and
yes.
Your son is.
Yes. Well, I remember my daughter. The first time I was aware of my daughter seeing me on television was in a Campion story, and I was being beaten up, and she didn't like that at all. She was very upset about that. But with the two young boys, I never tried to hide anything from Georgia in terms of if something was on and we were watching it, she would watch it, and with the two boys, I have the same attitude. I don't mind them seeing whatever they see, within reason, I suppose. But most of the stuff I've done has been very harmless stuff. Indeed, I think in The Last Detective, the show I did in the summer, Louis came along to one day's filming where I was.
And he was how old?
He was about 2 then, actually, but just over 2 days, now 3.5. And one particular scene where someone in a white van was trying to run me over. And to him, the series is now known as Daddy falls down in front of a van. And of course now he's addicted to Doctor Who because I had to watch Resurrection of the Daleks to do the DVD commentary, so I'm Dr. Daddy in that. I don't think he's really been aware of the Braithwaites, which is just as well because I shout a lot in that, so I don't think he'd like that.
Peter Davison, though, as always, thank you so much for your time.